What is up, everybody? Welcome into Pac-12 Preview. Yes, I am Michael Caratenuto at Diablo00 is where you can find me on Twitter. Questions, thoughts, little banter, a little fun trash talk, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you works for me. But yes, we are getting rolling here on Pac-12 Preview. Again, sorry, a few minutes late. Full disclosure, watching Duke and Stanford in the Durham Regional, in which, like I said, Duke did have a good season. Not going to sit there and say they didn't. But in the rankings, I talked about this on Monday. Just thought Stanford, yes, even after they advanced in the Stanford Regional in Palo Alto there, that they should have been higher, thinking they should have been in a top 8 because they would definitely be hosting a regional and a super regional. So that being said, but yes, I was watching that, and it is right now in I want to say bottom of the 4th. Yeah, bottom of the 4th. Duke is up 1-0 and has 2 on. Runners on first and second with 1 out. And yes, that is in the Durham Super Regional. That's where we are with softball. Baseball conference tournaments are going on. And yes, I have been out. For those of you, hope you've got to see the updates. But for those of you that have seen them, the Pac-12 baseball tournament here at Scottsdale Stadium has been absolutely – it's had its moments. And for fans everywhere, it's they have descended upon Scottsdale, which not a bad thing to come here. Getting a little warm during the day, but the first games that are in the morning, they've started out a little, not too bad, and then as obviously it heats up for that middle game, and then the night game, the night games, the weather's been very nice, but the baseball has stayed hot because, man, there are some teams that have put up crazy amounts of runs, and with pool play, as we would have it, but yeah, with pool play as we would have it, it's caused for some interesting baseball. So how it is, there's 9 teams, so there's 3 teams in each pool. Everybody plays everybody. So, and then the winner of each pool advances to the semifinals, which is today. And then there is a wild card team. So to keep it simple, how the wild card, pardon me, sorry. How the wild card team works is, how the wild card team works is it's the team with the next best record. Now, if you have the top seed in each pool go 2-0, then the top 3 would advance, and then, somebody that's 0-2 wouldn't be going. So a team that's 1-1 would advance. So Yeah, like as for the seeding for the tournament, Stanford was the well. As for the seeding of the tournament, so Stanford is I shouldn't say is the number one seed. Oregon State was 2, Washington 3, because this is how they finished in the regular season. USC 4, Arizona State 5, Oregon 6, UCLA 7, Arizona 8, and Cal 9. And like I said on Monday, Washington State and Utah, the two teams that did not go. So Stanford was the number one seed in Pool A. Oregon State in Pool B, and Washington in Pool C. So quick results again. If you haven't been watching, I mean, again, that's a bummer for you. But quick results. So tournament opened up on Tuesday, and the first game at 10 a.m. was Arizona and Arizona State. Now, Arizona State being the higher seed, they were the home team, and Arizona, man, they got off to a fast start. It was a big first inning, and they just kept it going after that. So Arizona beat ASU 12-3, and both of them still alive to go to the semifinal now, because Arizona, again, had they would have to win their pool. They'd have to win the pool and go 2-0 with, like I said, how low they were in the rankings, because the tiebreaker for the wild card, so the 3 pool winners and the wild card winner, but the wild card, you have a bunch of teams at 1-1. Who was the higher seed coming into the tournament? So obviously the regular season does matter, as it should. Definitely not saying it shouldn't, as it should. So who is the higher seed? So just like I told you, I mean, Stanford, if they went 1-1, they would be advancing to the semifinal. Same thing with Oregon State and Washington. USC, again, would have to win. So USC, Arizona State, Oregon, UCLA, and Arizona all would have had to win their pools to get into the semifinals. Because if Stanford, Oregon State, or Washington went 1-1, then they're going to be a wild card team. Now, for some reason, I mean, if Stanford, Oregon State, and Washington all went 0-2, then obviously, yes, it opens it up for SC, Arizona State, Oregon, UCLA, and Arizona. But that was not the case. So anyway, just a little preview there. But so Arizona beat ASU 12-3, and rivalry game to start it off. Another rivalry game to kick off day one. USC beat UCLA 6-4. So that eliminated UCLA right there from being a wild card. Even, like I said, even if they would have went 1-1, said Arizona State, I mean, if they went 0-2, helps UCLA, but still, even USC being ranked higher than them, that knocked out UCLA, even though they still had one game left. And then on Tuesday, the nightcap, Oregon just slid past Cal 3-2, which was huge for the Ducks. Then on Wednesday, this game was insane. 25 total runs scored. It was Oregon State's opener. They were playing Arizona, who I said just came off the win on Tuesday from beating Arizona State. Oregon State and Arizona, 13-12. Arizona wins it in the bottom of the ninth. These teams are going back and forth, putting up runs. The offenses are just getting the best of the pitching. And again, it wasn't terrible. It's not like they're throwing meatballs up there. But Oregon State had the lead, and then Arizona had the last bat. And they end up walking it off in the bottom of the ninth, 13-12. The Wildcats beat the Beavers, and now they win the pool. So Arizona automatically going to the semifinals, which are today, but having yesterday off and then coming back. But Arizona automatically, they're pool B winners, and they are going to the semifinals. Now, Oregon State still has a chance because that was their first game. And again, being the number 2 seed, they would have a chance. And then the next game on Wednesday, UCLA, again, already eliminated from having a chance to go to the semifinals, but they just maul Washington 17-4. The Bruins bats absolutely crushed it. And even, I mean, the pitching as well, too. And Washington just could not get anything going. When you see a 17-4 score, you're like, yeah, Michael, don't overstate the obvious. But just being at that game, again, UCLA really nothing to play for. Could have kind of just went through the motions, and they're trying to ruin Washington's season. And they, Washington, again, sold the shot, but a little bit behind the 8 ball. So, and then in the nightcap, oh my gosh, this game absolutely unbelievable. Well, it was awesome, I should say, but I mean, it was insane. But I mean, Stanford and Cal's up, and their season's obviously over. They're not going to a regional or anything like that. And Stanford started a little flat. I mean, Coach Esker talked about it after the game, and Stanford started a little flat, and Cal just plugging away, getting really quality at bats. But inevitably, the Cardinal, the number 1 seed, they come back to win, giving up a lot of runs, but scoring a ton, 18-10. And there was some bombs hit in this game. Braden Montgomery hit an absolute bomb. I mean, his home run, it was ridiculous. But Stanford gets the win, 18-10. So they're looking good to win their pool because that was their first game. Cal obviously done. Then yesterday, okay, so going into yesterday, the first game of the day was Arizona State and Oregon State. So Oregon State just needed a win, and they would be the highest team at 1-1, so they would also be in the semifinals. Now, for Arizona State, who had a very flat performance, and again, U of A was responsible for that, but just not a good performance against Arizona. Man, the bats got going early. But for Arizona State, they needed to win this game. This is what yesterday meant for ASU. They needed to win this game, have USC beat Washington, and then have Stanford beat Oregon, which which have Stanford beat Oregon. And so ASU came out, and they were the visiting team. Oregon State made it interesting, but like I said, the bats got going. Luke McLean, kid who's been slumping for ASU, actually he struck out his first at bat, but saw more pitches, fouled quite a few off, and then ended the day up with having 2 triples. I think he finished 3 for 6 yesterday. And yeah, that middle of the lineup got going. Luke Keeschel, again, another solid game for ASU as he ends up hitting another home run. But defensively, yeah, they again made it interesting. Oregon State was the home team in the bottom of the ninth. It was 14-7. Oregon State got 3. So ASU wins 14-10. They're feeling good. They're like, all right, we did our part, at least today. And we would love to see USC beat Washington. And, of course, thinking Stanford, yeah, they can definitely beat Oregon. Be a good game, but that's the nightcap. Well, Washington gets off to a fast start. It takes USC till, I think, the third inning to get their first hit, third or fourth inning to get their first hit of the game. And Washington was up 2-0 and then 4-0, 4-0. And then it was 4-2 at one point. And then it was 5-3 and 5-3 in favor of Washington. And then Washington, all I can tell you is they end up winning 8-3. So now ASU's hopes are dashed. So ASU's hopes are dashed, and then it comes down to Stanford and Oregon. And if Stanford won, so you already had Arizona in. That was the definite. Stanford, again, at 1-1. Stanford and Arizona were already in. So Washington with the win. They were 1-1, looking good. Oregon was 1-0. If Stanford beats them, USC, even though they lose, would be going. Well, just look at it like this, fans. Oregon, I mean, Stanford put up 6 runs. I know it wasn't the 18 they put up the night before. We were kidding around like, oh, they should save some for tomorrow. But with Stanford's lineup, not happening. Oregon ends up winning that game 8-6. So the semifinals are set up. It is an all Pacific Northwest battle at 2:30, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific and Mountain Time today. Washington will be the home team, and they take on Oregon. And then Stanford, who took 2 out of 3 in Arizona. But the last game in Arizona won, I think it was 22-21. Let's see. I can tell you real quick. It was like, I think it was extra innings. I think it went 10. And Arizona won. Because it was in Tucson. Or no, it was in Palo Alto. Yes, it was in Palo Alto. And Arizona won, 21-20 in 10 innings. So, yes, that was the last time. That was the last time they played. And, Stanford had already taken the first 2 games of the series. But, a little bit of madness there because, again, 22-21 in 10 innings. And to overstate the obvious, nobody's pitching really got going. So, but Oregon and Washington, Oregon is the first matchup. Like I said, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific and Mountain Time. And then the 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific and Mountain Time game, Stanford, the home team, taking on Arizona. So the 2 winners of this, the semifinal of the Pac-12 tournament, will play tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific on ESPN2. But the one thing, and again, before we move on to softball, because regionals or super regionals have started, the one thing that stood out to me the most all season long and even in the tournament is Stanford's lineup. I mean, top to bottom, you look at it, when they played Cal, right? And Cal had nothing to play for. Believe me, Cal had nothing to play for, and they got out to a lead. But you look at the batting order for Stanford, and this is where, again, you can understand. Well, they also had the Pac-12 Player of the Year bearing the lead, Alberto Rios. Was a Pac-12 Player of the Year. He also had a home run the other night. He went back-to-back. Braden Montgomery hit that moonshot, and then Alberto Rios after him went yard as well. And that pretty much said goodnight to the Golden Bears. But you look at their lineup up and down, and this is the crazy part to me, especially for Stanford. I mean, you have, Eddie Park leading off, a 329 hitter for the season coming in. You had Tommy Troy, a 404 hitter who's just Mr. Everything. Scary moment in that game. He did get hit, but he would stay in the game. He was okay. Coach Esker talked about it, asked him about it after the game, said, yeah, obviously got examined. And he said, well, let me take him out. Even, he got examined and he was cleared. And, coach thought, all right, maybe we should sit you down though. And Tommy's like, nope, I'm playing. But anyway, he's batting 404 on the season coming in. Then you see Carter Graham, 323, the aforementioned moonshot home run hitter, Braden Montgomery, 333. Alberto Rios, Pac-12 Player of the Year, came in that game hitting 400. Malcolm Moore, 304. And then Drew Bowser got some great hits, but 281 on the season coming in. And then Jake Sapie in the DH, 275. Then you have Owen Cobb in the 9-hole, the shortstop, batting 330. So, yeah, I say all that to you, and you're like, my goodness. And coming into that game, Tommy Troy, 13 home runs. Carter Graham, 14 home runs. Braden Montgomery, 14 home runs. Alberto Rios, 16 home runs. Malcolm Moore, 12 home runs. And Drew Bowser, 10 home runs. All double-digit home run guys. But, they're aggressive as you want to be. I talk about it, but they're patient. They wait for their pitches, making solid contact. Alberto Rios now with this tournament, his average is up to 409. Tommy Troy's has dipped. And when I say dipped, yes, I hope you get the sarcasm, to 392. Braden Montgomery, 332. Eddie Park, 330. Owen Cobb, 328. Carter Graham, 323. Malcolm Moore, 312. Drew Bowser at 276. Jake Sapien actually up to 292. So, it's crazy. And this is a team that has hit 101 home runs to this point this season. But 101 home runs, 123 doubles, even 13 triples on the season. A team that has 1,075 total bases and has 3 players with over 1,000 OPS. Alberto Rios, 1.284. Tommy Troy, 1.169. And Braden Montgomery, 1.095. Like, seeing him play in Tempe, I know, obviously, a lot of you that follow me on Twitter at Diablo00. Yes, I know, shameless plug. A lot of you that follow me on Twitter and know that it's with the updates, I was out at Phoenix Muni, and you see Stanford in person, you think, wow. ASU went toe-to-toe with them, matching hits. Pitching was on, ASU offensively capitalizing on, a pitch that just may have missed a little bit. And Stanford ends up sweeping them, but every game was like a 1-run game, 2-run game, and ASU's right there. But up and down the Stanford lineup all year long. And yeah, for Alberto Rios, this includes, I know, like I said, season, but Alberto Rios, because Cal was their first game, so he won Pac-12 Player of the Year. And for the season, the numbers he had, he was, like I said, hitting 400, had 55 runs scored. He had 76 hits, 17 doubles, no triples, and like I said, 16 home runs, 63 RBIs on the season. And what he means also defensively too. And it's a kid that had to wait his turn. mean, he's in left field, but it's a young man that had to wait his turn. And Stanford, again, you always hear, these teams never rebuild, they just reload. And I mean, baseball wise, for years, Stanford's been that. They won the Pac-12 regular season the last 2 years. They won the inaugural Pac-12 baseball tournament last year and looking to do the same this year. So, I mean, a guy like Alberto Rios that literally had to wait his turn and just keep doing the work. And obviously coach can see and coaching staff can see, the talent's there, but just doing the work, putting it in. And, they graduate guys and he comes in to this lineup. And like I said, just up and down. So if you haven't got a chance, if you have not had a chance, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to watch their semifinal game tonight because, and it's 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific and Mountain Time. I know it's Memorial Day weekend. Hey, you're hanging out somewhere, put it up. It's on the Pac-12 networks, but check it out. I mean, the Stanford lineup up and down. And again, the anomaly to that Arizona series a few weeks ago is it was the Sunday game and it was 22-21. Stanford had won the first 2 games, I think like 9-2 and 9-3, something of that ilk. But either way, they won the series. But Arizona in that last game, the bats just went crazy. And the Arizona offense, you look at the Arizona offense on the season, and as a team, they're batting .320. Home run wise, they have 89. Again, not too far off. But again, like I said, Stanford to this point, 101 home runs on the season. Their opponents have only hit 59 against them. And Arizona pitching has been, and like so when ASU swept them in Phoenix Muni, and no Arizona fans, I'm not just saying that to bring it up to poke you. You beat us in the tournament 12-3. You're going to the semifinals. I'm saying, but it is a fact of the season. When ASU swept them, Arizona still scored runs, and like the ASU's offense was able to get to them. But that 20-0 game, I mean, Arizona, like they put up 20 on Stanford, put up 20 on ASU. But the 20-0 game where they just absolutely beat ASU in Tucson in that midweek game, you knew they had the offense. I mean, pitching, again, it's college baseball, aluminum bats. You're going to give up some runs. And yes, it's not, obviously all pitchers aren't major league pitchers, but still are very good. I digress though. But yeah, I mean, ever since that game, it's like Arizona offensively. I mean, you look at Mac Bingham, who's leading the team with a .371 batting average, and Chase Davis, who's had a heck of a season right behind him at .367. It is a team that has 145 doubles on the season, 29 triples, like I said, 89 home runs. 36 stolen bases on the season. Again, not running a ton, but 36 stolen bases out of 53 attempts for the Wildcats. But yeah, like Chase Davis, Kiko Romero, Nick McCleary, or Nick McClary, pardon me. I mean, just offensively, all have had like very, very solid seasons. I mean, home run wise, Davis has 20. Chase Davis, Kiko Romero hit 18. Also in double digits was Tony Bullard with 11 and Mac Bingham with 10. So, Mac Bingham had 10, as did Emilio Corona, had 10 home runs as well. So 5 guys in double-digit home runs. And yeah, at times you need that pop on the bat. Yes, you need to, make contact, get runners on base, see more pitches, all that good baseball stuff. But Arizona, for Chip Hale, has turned it on. So they took care of business. They won their pool, in a pool in which Oregon State was obviously the favorite to win, having both Arizona and Arizona State in it. Oregon State was the favorite to win it, but guess what? Oregon State didn't win one game. Arizona got them first, and then ASU needed to get them next, and they were able to do that. So but just USC and Stanford after that said, well, sorry, hey, there are other teams playing them. So yes, those are our 4 teams: Washington, Oregon, Stanford, Arizona, the Final 4 in the Pac-12 tournament. And the 2 winners get to play the championship game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. And Pacific and Mountain Time, and that's on ESPN too. So, like I said, if you check these teams out again, Washington has had an interesting season. Oregon, I think the second half of the season, in my opinion, conference play, but they've definitely, I mean, come on, you look at Oregon for the season, they were 16-14 in Pac-12 play, so just above 500, but 35-20 overall. Winning against Stanford again yesterday, definitely to me, I mean, they're headed to a region. I mean, Stanford's hosting Oregon State. They didn't win a game. And it's not just, oh, what have you done for overreaction? I mean, 18-12 in conference, 39-18 overall. I think they could be a lower seed hosting, but some of the projections that we were looking at in the press box the other night at Scottsdale Stadium had Oregon State not hosting and traveling. So it only had Stanford hosting, I want to say, and maybe Washington, because Washington was 34-17 overall. I think Stanford and Washington hosting, and now that Washington again won that game against SC yesterday's in the semifinals, what they did, I think probably see Stanford and Washington host. Oregon State going 0-2. If they were to host now, they could be that 16 seed. So even if they were to win a regional there, they would be traveling for the super regional. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, Stanford 38-15 on the season, Washington 34-17, Oregon 35-20, and Arizona now 32-23. So, yeah, I mean, they had to win their pool, and Arizona sending a message that they might be an at-large team. Definitely leapfrogging UCLA, which again, UCLA finished 28-24-1 overall, and they were banged up early in the season. And I asked Coach Savage about that. It's not an excuse. You got to play. And I'm not sitting, you know me, you guys know me. I'm not the type everybody deserves a trophy. But UCLA started out 16-3. And you're like, well, wow, they're 28-24. They started out 16-3. They got crushed by injury. Yeah, guys got to play. Some guys playing earlier than maybe, you know, you want them to in a major role, in a more focal role, to say the least. And yeah, you got to play, and, you know, they battled, and, you know, Coach Savage is quote to me his interview that I have with him. You can see it on my IG, Michael.Caratinuto.5. Again, another shameless plug, but go check it out. Got interviews up. But I asked him, I said, you know, it's not because you're in the Pac-12. I'm not trying to make excuses. Everybody deals with injuries, and you got to play the game, and, you know, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. But the way you started the season and the way you closed the season out, what you have in your lineup, I mean, it's a team that, he said, could we go to a regional and compete? He goes, absolutely. He goes, my team could. So, but he understands it, and he knows. And he said, hey, the guys just battled. He goes, all I want to see is the guys battled. Oh, there was a scary moment in their opening game against USC. Kyle Karros, the son of former Major League Baseball player Eric Karros and former UCLA Bruin as well, a pitch got away, and it hit him in the didn't get him in the face, but it did get him in the helmet. He was down for a little bit, but he got checked out. He was taken out of the game. He didn't play in their second game against Washington, who they beat 17-4, like I said. But Kyle Karros, precautionary, but yeah, I mean, probably in concussion protocol, because that hit him on the side of the helmet, and it was scary. I mean, you just heard it. And but yeah, he was out of the game, but which was a tough losing a very obviously solid hitter in the lineup, but just glad to hear that he was doing better, but just had to get evaluated. And like I said, I mean, you get hit like that, obviously a baseball moving at that velocity. Yeah, so he was out. Tommy Troy, like I said, got hit, and I mentioned in their first game against Cal, but I mean, it was high and tight, but he was able to, duck. I shouldn't say duck, like dodge it, and to where the impact wasn't too bad, but still he had to get evaluated. Did Tommy Troy, but for Stanford he played. But yeah, hopefully, like good to see Tommy Troy okay, and like I said, for Kyle Karros, wanting him to be okay as well. I'm gonna step aside real quick when I get back, man. Softball Super Regionals is here. Stanford's on the road. Washington is hosting. Utah's hosting. Who am I forgetting? Stanford's on the road. UCLA. Well, they got eliminated. Oregon's on the road again in Oklahoma State. So I'll get to all of it. Step aside real quick, and then we'll wrap it up with softball Super Regionals, postseason, spring sports, baseball, softball. Gotta love it. More coming up here on Pac-12 Preview. All right, back here on Pac-12 Preview. I am Michael Caratanudo. Yes, at Diablo00 on Twitter. Hit me up. You can send me some messages. You want a little banter, you want to go a little back and forth, that's fine. Make it fun. I say just make it a little fun. Don't be mean-spirited. Like I said, we can banter, we can trash talk, we can be civil about it, have some fun. Be creative with it, or, questions, agreeances, disagreeances, thoughts, whatever. Hit me up on Twitter at Diablo00 in the comments here. If you have anything that you're, like I said, in agreements, disagreements with me, whatever, bringing up points. But yeah, you can do it all there. That's how you get a hold of me. But yeah, at Diablo00 on Twitter. And yeah, so the semifinals, like I said, for Pac-12 baseball are set. Softball, man, Super Regionals are here, and it is absolutely, again, I love this time of year, but it's a bummer because it just means that it's coming to an end. But Super Regionals opened up last night for Oregon. They, again, destroyed Arkansas. I love saying that. Smacked the SEC Razorbacks around in their own regional, in the Fayetteville Regional. Oregon said bye-bye. And but in winning that, and they were matched up. And again, I went over the matchups on Monday, but they are in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Cowgirl Stadium. Again, a very, very good team. Talked about Oklahoma State. Said this would be a tough one, and the defensive play of the night turned in by Oregon, but overall, Oklahoma State last night in the opening game beat Oregon 8-1, and the Ducks got a little bit of work to do, as you know, because it's best 2 out of 3 in the Super Regional. So they are playing again tonight. But yeah, so there's that matchup. Oregon got rolling last night. And I mean, it was actually Oregon was up 1-0. And then after that, it was maybe Oklahoma State was up. Either way, it was close early and it was not close late. Oklahoma State got 2 just monster home runs in that game yesterday too, and their bats have done it all year long for the Cowgirls. I did see them play one of their 3-game series against Oklahoma. Saw one of the games of the 3-game series. Pardon me. I know. Speaking full sentences. It definitely helps. But Oklahoma State, last few years, again, a very, very good team. So, yeah, their bats got going. Again, two big home runs. And, yeah, one of them was, just both of them were kind of monster shots. One of them, I was like, man, I don't know if that thing's ever going to come down. But, yeah, they beat Oregon 3-1. And then the game, and then opening up today, like I said, Stanford and Duke playing right now on ESPN2. And then Oklahoma State and Oregon is at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific and Mountain Time on ESPN2 as well. And then tonight in prime time here on the West Coast, but the Huskies host their Seattle Super Regional game against the Ragin' Cajuns, who came out of the Baton Rouge bracket or regional, sending LSU, ends up getting sent home 2 years in a row in regionals. So you get for talking trash. But anyway, no, that's what you get for not backing up the talking trash. I just said I'm okay with talking trash, but hey, everybody hears it. Everybody's gonna, again, not that they're not playing good defense or offense or looking at pitches, but they're going to tighten up their defense. They're going to make sure that they're making the right play. And yeah, they're going to be aggressive, but not to where it could cost. And it's the Ragin' Cajuns get to travel to Seattle and take on the Huskies. And then the same time tonight, that's on ESPN. And then the same time, a West Coast matchup, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific and Mountain Time on ESPN2. The Utes hosting, because San Diego State was an unranked team, and they were in the Los Angeles Regional, and they came out of it because UCLA, again, dropped couldn't score runs for seemingly the first time all year. And again, I'm not laughing at them. I'm just still in shock because, man, they were just every game just consistent, methodical. They lost 3 games in conference play, and I think it was 1 game in 3 different series. Obviously, they never got swept. So it was 1 game in 3 different series. So they won every conference series that they played in the regular season. That's domination. To overstate the obvious for some, not luck, it's domination. And they were that good. And hey, in regionals, like I said, tighten up your defense. Some line drives aren't dropping. They're, you're lining out. Your pitcher's getting ground outs. You're striking out. It's but nonetheless, Utah gets to host it. And either way, a Pac-12 team was going to host this super regional. Well, unless they both lost, but I did not see that happening. And Utah hosting San Diego State, who, again, San Diego State played in having a hell of a year. Obviously, basketball lost in the national title game, but had a heck of a season, a heck of a tournament, to overstate the obvious there too as well. San Diego State is playing Utah, and that's going to be on ESPN. So Utah, Washington, Oregon, and Stanford all rolling. Oregon needs this game coming up this afternoon on early evening, afternoon time here in on the Pacific and on the West Coast. But anyway, Oklahoma State wins. They advance to the College World Series. Oregon wins. They play game 3 tomorrow. Oregon will be the home team today, though. That I can tell you. So they will have last at-bats. The Duke, I started a little bit late because it was 1-0 and Stanford was there. They're both getting great pitching. Right now, Stanford up 3-1, and they held Duke off the scoreboard in the 6th. So we go to the top of the last inning. 7 innings, I know a lot of you know. Say, why are you talking down to us? We know. I'm not talking down to you. I'm just reminding people that might not know. 7 innings, so they're going to the last inning. The Lady Cardinal with a 2-run lead on the Blue Devils of Duke and in the Durham Super Regional. So we, that's where we're at softball wise. Again, that Utah San Diego State game, I know it's late for you, those, if you're checking me out on the East Coast, I know it's a little late, but well, by the time it ends, but maybe check out the beginning and definitely, I mean, Washington, what they've done too. But yeah, Oregon, Oklahoma State. I mean, yeah, the super regionals are just absolutely awesome. But yeah, I mean, Oregon is a team on the season that batting wise, I mean, 309. Home run wise, they had two players in double digits, and Tara McGowan had 12 on the season and also batted 321. Not too bad. Ali Bunker, 384 hitter on the season. Played in all 54, started all 54 games for the Ducks. No surprise there. Bunker had 10 home runs on the season, and she led the team. Actually, drove in 54 RBIs, drove in 54. And Tara McGowan, who I said second in tops in home runs, she had 50 RBIs. The team, though, I mean, very, can hit for some power. 64 home runs on the season for the Ducks. Like I said, a team that hits 309 overall, and you have Bunker at 384. Ariel Carlson at 333, Hannah Delgado at 326, McGowan at 321. And, even Kai Lushar, who, played in 39 games, started 22, but a 437 hitter. Caitlin Howard also hitting 357. Kyla Morris, 333. So again, offensively, they got bats that can do it. They're battling a monster in Oklahoma State to, again, reiterate how good Oklahoma State, a very, very good team. So Oregon's got to have it. If they want to force a game 3, have a chance to go to the College World Series. But right now, top of the 7th, no outs, Stanford and Duke. And like I said, Washington, they've been that team to me that very good. I mean, definitely not going to very good. A good team, played solid, very good pitching all year long. And batting average wise, pardon me, the Huskies as a team batting 303. I mean, it's a team that didn't go yard a ton, 62 homers. Again, not bad on the season. They scored 306 runs, though, and 284 RBIs on the season. A team that hits, like I said, 303 overall. Two players in double-digit home runs. Bailey Bailey Klingler. She had 12 home runs on the season, and Madison Husky. I mean, look, all year long, again, it's so easy. I know, low-hanging fruit. It's not even about being cheesy, but her last name is Husky, and she plays for the Washington Huskies. So Madison Husky, though, with 11 dingers this year, and she had 42 RBIs. Klingler had 47 to lead the team. But, yeah, I mean, it's just a team. And you look at, pitching-wise for Washington, too. Ruby Malin is their ace. She was 17-5 on the season. I mean, 17-5 on the season. She appeared in 41 games. She started 22. 17-5 with a 2.27 ERA. 163 and 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 133 hits, 63 runs. Only 53 of those were earned. 189 Ks for Miss Malin to just 43 walks. Gave up 1 triple or 20 doubles, 1 triple, 11 home runs on the season. It's going to happen in softball. again, pitchers are getting talented and have becoming more and more dominant and just nasty. I mean, they've been nasty for a long time. And for those paying more attention now, what they can do with the ball. And again, yes, pitching underhand, the ball's bigger, but man, the movement, how they can get to place, but just the movement they can get. And man, it's absolute skills is awesome. But yeah, for Ruby Malin, a heck of a season. Like I said, 189 strikeouts on the season to just 43 walks. May also have Kelly Lynch and Lindsay Lopez. I mean, Lindsay Lopez started 29 appearances, was 12-3 overall with a 3.75 ERA, pitched 80 and a third innings, gave up 81 hits, 45 runs, 43 of those were earned, 76 Ks to 22 walks, 11 doubles, no triples, 3 home runs for Lindsay Lopez. And then even, Kelly Lynch was 9-3 on the season with a 2.43 ERA. She pitched 77 and 2/3 innings, gave up 50 hits, 30 runs, 27 of those were earned, 101 Ks for Lynch to just 40 walks. And I mean, you look at, what Malin did, 189 strikeouts to 43 walks. So a team with 387 strikeouts and 114 walks. Their opponents overall this season on them had 222 strikeouts, so way less, and then gave up way more walks, 188. So, and look, the Raging Cajuns, University of Louisiana, they are going to be in Lafayette there. They are going to be not just saying, oh, we're just happy and lucky to be here. No, they are going to be rolling. So, yeah, softball super regionals going. It is an awesome time of year. I gave you the avenues to check it out. So, yes, check it out. Have a good time. Not too much going on. Obviously, I know still one series each going on in the NHL because Dallas extended it last night and Boston extended their series again last night against Miami. So now they get to head back to Miami again. But again, you got a lot of college baseball conference tournaments going on, softball super regionals going on. It's just awesome. And also NCAA golf championships, the men's playing right here in the backyard as well too at Greyhawk. They got started they got started today. And yeah, they play through the weekend. So yeah, I mean, just a lot to check out, a lot of championship time in a year for the spring. We love it. Track and field as well. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday. Or no. Yes, I will be back on Monday. It is Memorial Day weekend. Monday, obviously be Memorial Day, but I will be back on Monday. Again, might just recap games, might be a shorter version of the show. I'll let you know. But nonetheless, be back Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a good, safe Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Again, thank you for joining me here during Pac-12 Preview. Definitely appreciate it. And, you can always check it out back on replay, all the good stuff. But on my Facebook, on YouTube, on the Sideline Sports YouTube channel, subscribe to that. But on my Facebook as well, on my Twitter as well at Diablo00. So check it out. Again, messages, hit me up with messages at Diablo00. Can always do it. I will respond. It might take a second, but I will respond. And let's have some fun with it. But anyway, have a great, safe Memorial Day weekend, everybody. I will see you Monday. Like I said, same bat time, same bat channel. And yes, as we get out of here, as always, they should be headed to a regional anyway, but forks up.